Hello and welcome to We Are Listening. I am your host, Pulkit Garg, and today I want to share a story from ancient India, a time when a wise sage taught a group of students about the power of sound and its impact on life. The sage took a simple bowl of water and played a harmonious tune on his flute. The students watched in awe as the vibrations from the music created a beautiful pattern on the water's surface. And just as these vibrations shaped the water, the sage said, the vibrations of our thoughts, emotions, and actions shape the life within us. Listeners, this timeless wisdom is more relevant today than ever, especially when it comes to the journey of pregnancy, the bond a mother shares with fetus that's growing inside her. Our guest today, Ami Sheth Doshi, is someone who has dedicated her life to exploring the profound connection between a mother and her unborn child through natural healing modalities. Ami is a seasoned parenting coach, handwriting analyst, and sound healer with over 18 years of experience in the field of mental wellness. She has worked with over 1.5 lakh individuals, helping them create a better world through natural science. She has even extended her expertise to the Indian Air Force, helping improve relationships within families. Ami, it's an honor to have you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pulkit. It's really an honor to be on this platform where I see you transforming a lot of lives through a lot of these podcasts that you keep doing. So it's a great initiative.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I mean, before we, get into the complete round of asking questions and, answers, can you just help us understand who you are, how you got into this, journey of natural healing modalities and how it has been going for you? It's been nearly 18 years. So if you can just, try to summarize those 18 years in probably 2 or 3 minutes.
So I think this journey started for me when I was pregnant the first time with my daughter. She is now 18 years old. I mean, she's now an adult, and that is when I when go back to when I was pregnant for the first time. There were all these jitters that were there. That how would I be able to handle a child? What is going to be my journey with their child? And as we know, a lot of parenting challenges keep coming up, so to be ready for that was the entire goal. And clearly it happened so that we are when I kind of went into this journey, it created a beautiful bond with my daughter. The way I used to talk to her, the way I used to play with her, and a lot of things that I did over a period of time with her, keeping in mind her development and her stages of what she needs at that time. And that is how my journey as a parenting coach or as a play therapist or as a counselor started, because I was interacting with a lot of people, a lot of mothers at that time, not at a professional level, but more from a friend, like my daughter's friend's mother, and used to keep guiding them. And that is where the entire journey unfolded. Okay, okay, there is a seed that can be sown, and there is a much more thing that we can do with pregnant women, with more children, which can develop the future generations. So that is how that whole journey and the inspiration came in.
Wow, that's great. So, since you started your journey when you were pregnant and you understand it to its core now, so, and being a woman, you understand all of it. So, can you help us understand the emotional bond that a mother starts to develop with the baby while it's growing, while it's evolving? So, what are the different stages in which the emotions, start to unfold and the fetus starts to recognize those emotions, those vibrations? Because I totally align with the power of vibrations. My final year project, though in the engineering field, was in the space of power of vibrations, where we were doing sonoluminescence as an experiment. So it was all on vibration. So there's no doubt that vibrations have a lot of power. But yes, when it comes to the biological sense of it, if you can just shed some light.
So if we go back to our mythology and we look at the Mahabharata, and where we see the Abhimanyu and the story that we all know of, okay,
Mhm.
how he knew to get into the Chakravyuh in the mother's womb, right?
Yeah.
That means that a soul that enters the womb can actually listen to everything and feel everything that the mother goes through. Now, why that happens is, again, we say that the soul decides to come into the family that they want to. A child decides their parents. Now, at the environment that we are in and the child comes in, everything that the mother goes through, because again, our body is made up of fluid as water. We have so much of water content, and the womb, so the uterus is also filled with water. So
Yep.
the energy resonates, and that is where the resonance of your feeling with the child's feeling comes in, because everything is connected through that water, and your emotions are like those electromagnetic waves,
Yep.
and that is where it translates to the womb, and the child inside the womb can feel everything. So the emotional bond that happens is because one is, as we say, that the woman has the power, the shakti that we talk about, right? That only the woman has that power to give birth, and that is where the entire 9 months of that journey with the child comes in. So every stage that the child is growing inside the woman, the mother can feel the growth, the mother can feel the sensation, and that is that unconditional bond that builds in, that there's birthing inside happening. And it's like that plant that you see, when you kind of really nurture, right, that plant, and how it nurtures and we give flowers. That is what the woman also feels inside. So that is that emotional bond that a birth is taking in, and how much care and how much trust that you have that this child that is going to come into the world is going to do wonders for the world outside.
Again, I just want to come back on the point you did touch upon it slightly when you were introducing yourself, but I really want to go into the depth of the emotional state of the mother and the surroundings out there. How does it impact the development of the fetus and the child in the later stages?
So if you look at it, the current times, there is stress. Women are, a lot more women now are working parents, they are already working, and a lot more women want to go the family way. Then there are challenges on the work life balance that you have, or everything that you need to kind of make sure that it works in unification when the child is coming, right? Because in the olden days, more women were homemakers. We were living in joint families, so a lot of things were taken care of. There were more celebrations happening in the family. So your emotional state in the olden times were much higher, were much happier,
Mhm.
and that happy hormones also get translated to the baby inside, because the environment is happy. There is a lot more people that can take care of you. Today I don't feel like doing anything, I can rest. But say, versus today's times, today's times where we have more nuclear families, we have more people working, more women working, husband wife, both of them go for work. So there is, sometimes when you come back home, you're not really seeing anybody at home. The husband might come late, or so what happens is, again, there is a vacuum there, and those emotions also affect the fetus. Now what happens is that when I feel sad because the child is connected to me through the cord or through the electromagnetic waves inside the body, the same feeling the child goes through. If I am stressed, the child also feels the stressed hormones. If
Mhm.
I am happy, the child also feels that. And that is what we say, that during the initial times, that we should be able to have those happy moments, enjoy yourself, read good books, listen to good music. So all those were told to us for a very specific reason, that the child inside can hear the sounds, the frequencies that we talk about, and can actually feel everything that the mother feels. So definitely your environment, the way you are, will affect the
Mhm.
child as the way you are. And that is how, say, if even in a sad environment I can remain happy as a mother, the child inside me is happy. But sometimes, the aggression that comes in, or anything that happens to me, and the shock basically is the dip. Like today I'm very happy, tomorrow I'm very sad. That dip that happens, that is also the dip that happens in the child, because that suddenly there is, there's too much of frequency or vibration that you say happiness is there, and suddenly the mother is sitting very silent, suddenly the mother is feeling very low, right? So your body reacts to those, and those hormones is where it plays the role. And once those hormones are imbalanced, the child also feels the same in the womb. And that is where your environment controls you. And if you can become steady, the baby inside is steady. But if I also fluctuate as per the environment, then definitely the child inside will also feel that. And that is where we see, Rao, if you see a lot of children that you see nowadays have ADHDs, and a lot of those mental challenges that are coming, autism, ADHD, dyslexia, hyperactivity, right? Everything is because the mother also has gone through a lot of those, up and down in the pregnancy stage. And you see now these kind of children are much more, the rate is much more than what it was before. So the
Understood.
environment definitely causes these things in the child.
Again, like I totally, agree with that, where we hear about a lot of children suffering from ADHD or hyperactivity, that has gone very high in number. Earlier, it used to be in a very far off place. You hear that one probably in 100 or probably more than that. I don't have the exact numbers with me. But yes,
Yeah.
now in my own very close friend circle, I know two, three couples whose children are suffering from ADHD, mild ADHD or mild autism. But yes,
Yeah.
they are going through it, and it's a difficult phase. But help me also understand, and might not be relevant to the topic of the podcast, but does too much dependency on modern medication, adulteration that we all have to go through right now, we all are living in metro cities. You're in Bangalore, I am in Delhi. Neither the air, nor the food, nor the water, these are the three essential elements we need for our survival. Neither of them we are getting in the pure essence, which
Yeah.
was available at least 15, 20 years back. Today,
Yes.
everything is adulterated. Even whatever we might get water purifiers installed, whatever XYZ, still the required minerals which were coming from the natural sources, they are not available for us. So, what's your response to this, and how much does it impact to the overall development of the fetus?
See, I would say it definitely impacts, because as you're saying that, the pure milk or the pure butter that we used to have, or, the millet based food that used to be given. Now, even the atta that you see is different. Or also, I would say even the lifestyle. Today, as a mother, I want to eat. I mean, if you look at an average family, minimum twice or thrice families are eating outside. It's not much of an home cooked meal that is happening. So how many of us actually have sattvic food or home cooked meal, right? And now in that also, when we are adding the Swiggy, Zomato, we really don't know what kind of food is getting made in under what environment, and what kind of masalas they're adding, everything, right? So the I will enjoy it as a taste bud, but the minute it affects my digestive system, again it does affect the way your body will react, right? So if you look at the Ayurveda way, or you say that you have a kapha pitta vata, in your body, and your body temperature varies, again that is like again a shock to the womb in the child, to the womb, because I have felt bad, and I am whole night I am screaming with acidity, and my food has not been digested well. The child gets affected, because then the water inside the womb is not stable. So we need to understand that the womb has water, and if you see a river, it is still flowing, but it has a consistent, there's a flow to it. It's a very calm thing. But when it gets aggravated, what happens to that, right? Anything that comes in the way is going to get affected. So the same way your child also gets affected, because your bodily systems are not in the right way. And definitely I would say today's thing, we have so much of food available, but at the same time we really don't know from the sources of it. So even if we say organic, even if we say homegrown or anything, I think that still kind of, what do you say, eliminates some part of your illnesses or anything like that. But I think home cooked or anything, if you can really make it, or at least those 9 months that you can feed yourself more, more number of meals. Say if you're having, I would say 7 days, 3 meals at least, so say 21 meals. Now out of those 21 meals minimum, could we add like in 15 to 17 meals which could be pure, which could be home cooked, which could be rightly cooked,
Mhm.
which will enhance the fetus inside and the brain development that will happen. So if we could do that and be well aware and conscious about that, I think your development of the child is much better than what we would say the other way.
Understood. You know, talked about the soul decides the family, and if you can just shed some light on this. This made me very curious when you just said this statement. The discussion just went forward, but yeah, this particular statement made me very curious.
I could see the question mark on your face that okay, what was this? Was some kind of thing out of the blue that has come in. So if we look at the karmic plan, we all know about our karma, and we all know that we come into this life to complete a certain pattern of our
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Okay, so it means like say today I'm meeting you. There is some pact made somewhere that I'm supposed to connect to you and we're supposed to do something like this for the betterment of, we don't know how many people can get impacted through
Yes.
this, right? So there is a pact already made. There is a soul contract that we say, or there is a soul plan that is already there. Now, for that soul, if I have to complete an X plan, I need to come to a family who will help me complete this plan, right? So now when I plan to take a rebirth or come to this planet, I need to understand that this is my plan to live my life, and which family will give me this environment to live my life. And that is when we say that the soul decides the parents that I want to be in this family because this family will give me this journey to complete this cycle of
Mhm.
mine.
Mhm. Mhm.
And the minute I know that I can complete this cycle of mine with this family, I plant myself there. So typically, I have made an arrangement in the first month that I'm going to come to this house. Now, say over a period of time, the soul still has not entered the womb. Okay, it takes about 3 to 4 months to come into the womb. Okay, the soul energy basically, right? But during that 4 months, if say the plan of the family has changed, matlab, say they were living in a joint family. Now they plan to say, okay, because the child is coming, I'll move to another flat or another house like that. But my plan as a soul was to complete with all those people in the family and to live like that, right? So the family's plan has changed, and that is where you see in the first 3 months, sometimes miscarriages, abortions, all that happen because my karmic plan has changed. The family's plan has changed, and I, as a soul or as a child, will not be able to complete with that family in that environment. And that is when I choose to withdraw and I see another family for myself.
Okay.
Okay, and that is how the soul decides. So abortion or anything also in the karmic journey is about that I have decided not to be there because it does not align with my karmic completion. So
Mm.
again the soul withdraws from there. So people going through abortion or anything, generally when I do therapy or I work with them, the first question I asked is, when you were planning to conceive, what was your thought process when the abortion happened, or say the miscarriage happened, or any complication happened? What happened? What changed? And that is when you understand that okay, there was a stark contrast of what the environment was before, when they had started to conceive and they had got pregnant, and now the environment has completely changed, or the mindset of the parents have changed, or something has gone off which was not before. And that is when the your kind of miscarriages and all that happen. So that is when we say that the soul decides to come to complete. And if the family is aligned, then I live that life. If the family is kind of shakes for whatever reasons, there is practicality in that. The family has moved to another flat for whatever reasons, there's practicality in that. But the soul ke liye, it's my plan has changed, my completion will not happen. So I don't want to waste a birth there. I want to live that life, so I would rather withdraw, do that part, and then go ahead. So all of us, as our karmic plan also, have
Mhm.
gone through abortions, have gone through miscarriages, we've all evolved from there. So it's actually, if you look at it, it's not something wrong or bad, but it's just that the you have also helped another soul to evolve.
Yeah.
That is also one way of seeing it, because a lot of parents get, a lot of mothers get very depressed that miscarriage hua, and they would have had multiple miscarriages also at times. They would be trying, and a lot of things would have happened that time, but they feel bad about it. So the idea is also that you've helped a soul to evolve, because this is not their plan. But now when you want to conceive, stick to it. So that's how you work with those parents, or that's how I work with those parents, that now whatever your plan is, however you want to live your life, stick to that plan and keep going on. And we have seen miracles happening, that they can conceive also much faster. They have had the child, and now the child is still all normal, everything is fine, even after multiple miscarriages or anything like that. So that's when the soul plan is.
Understood. Understood. Because I remember I was having, we had Binita and Maggie on a podcast who are Akashic readers, and they also talked about that soul decides its own journey. So I
Right.
just got curious and I wanted to, get a bit more elaboration on that. And the other important factor, I mean, we often get to hear during pregnancy is a lot of mood changes happen, mood swings happen, which is normally referred as mood swings due to the hormonal changes, because the mother's body also starts to evolve to cater to the new baby that's going to come for a lot of reasons. Breastfeeding is there, and then future development as well to cater to the whole requirements. How can mother herself, as well as people in the surroundings, the father and the other family members, come together to give that positive environment? And moreover, how can they overcome their own inhibitions, because everybody understands that a pregnant woman requires very positive environment, needs to be happy. We all have evolved from rural life to urban life today. We all have grandmothers and grandfathers who keep sharing these advice, but it seldom happen that they're paid heed to. It just normally is a talk of the house, but nobody actually takes an action on that. So how can these things evolve to a place where actual implementation happens, and the final, I will not say goal or objective, but yes, the environment that a baby requires to evolve is provided out there?
So the first thing I would say is stop the Google, because for every problem, say today I'm just having a headache in pregnancy, I just Google it. So there is so much of that fear which is floating around. And that is what the family also conveys to the mother.
Mhm,
राइट
mhm.
कि ओके हेडेक है तो ये दवाई ले लो, ये कुछ हो रहा होगा, दिस काइंड ऑफ अ प्रॉब्लम माइट यू माइट बी फेसिंग, और बिकॉज इट्स योर दिस ट्राइमेस्टर यू शुड नेवर बी हैविंग अ हेडेक, और यू शुड नेवर हैव एन एसिडिटी और समथिंग लाइक दैट. एंड पीपल स्टार्ट रिएक्टिंग to that, rather than we don't see it as a natural process. I'm just living my life, right? Today there is nothing that I need to really be so much extra careful about. It's a life inside me, and that life is going to come, because that's the life plan. The soul has made that plan, and the life is going to happen that way. But today, so much of caution and so much of those do's and don'ts that are there outside, all the therapists, or we have seen a lot of doctors also, you should not sit like that, you should not do like that. But if you have seen the olden days, jhadu pocha karte the people, our mothers have done, sweeping and mopping, and actually have had normal deliveries because of that, right? So those were the exercises that were given. But the family now scares you so much ki if you don't do this, or if you do this, this will happen. And that itself is so much of fear, because the mother herself is going through a lot of fear. It's not an easy task to kind of make the child evolve over a period of time, right? Because your body is changing, your hormones are changing, your looks are changing. So everything is becoming out of, what do you say, out of your control, right? And now on that, the family kind of makes it more that you should not be like this, see, this actress is like that, that actress is like that, how come you are gaining so much weight? So the idea is just let it be as a normal process. rather than talking about it too much. We talk, and
Mhm.
that is when there is no implementation, or there is no plan, or there is nothing but just talking about it, because you have seen so much, you have heard so much, you have read so much. And which is, I would not say it's completely wrong, but there are a lot of those myths and a lot of those things which are not really true about it. But we kind of just believe everything because, okay, 100 of people have believed it and 100 of people have faced it. But today, if I go back to my ancient wisdom, our grandmothers and everything, for every small thing they had a little bit of, the herbal thing or some anything from the home that they used to do it, and
Yeah.
everything used to be fine. But today we don't believe in that, because the modern medicine has really, kind of made it so big or made it so alarming that, if you don't take this, your fossil, or your folic acid or your calcium or anything, things are going to happen, things are going to go bad, right? So
Yeah.
then medicine also has created a fear. Now the mother herself is going through fear, first timers, the family is going through fear. So imagine the kind of conversation that you have. But versus that it's just a normal process, you just live a normal life. The child is going to come and the child is also going to be normal. You don't need to make it such a big thing that, oh my god, I'm going to have a child, right? Let it just be normal, and that is when you'll see the development being the maximum, because you have not given attention to
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
It's because, see, it's like your laser focus, right? Today if I throw some light on that prism, or I throw that, light on that paper might burn because there's only that much focused effort, right? The sun also burns you because there is so much of that ultraviolet. So the minute you're focusing so much on that thing, on that child which has not even come, that okay, this hoga, ye hoga, aise hoga, you're just burning the energy of the child, right? So the rather, just distribute it, just be happy, just be normal, just let it come as a normal process, and you will see the best growth in the child coming in. And that is what you can do. Just do normal activities, nothing that, okay, I can't drive this, or I can't do this, or I should not be doing this job, or I should not be cleaning, or I should not be mopping. This is not something. In fact, nowadays those lamas teachers and everything, they tell you to do all that. There's so much of pregnancy yoga, there's so much of prenatal classes that happen to
Yeah.
get the right postures before delivery. But still, if you look at the statistics, there is much more cesarean cases than your normal delivery, even after all that, even after these classes. But your olden days, your grandmom or your mother used to just tell, okay, okay, every day, just clean up this room for by yourself and you'll be good. We used to do all that mopping and we used to do all that. And those squat positions and everything just made, normal. We never thought that there was a child. It was just, I'm living a normal life. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the more normal that you can be, the family can be, I think the more normal children that we'll be able to produce.
Because that was one of the points I just noted, that there is a growth in the rate of cesarean babies that are happening these days in comparison to normal deliveries. I'm yet to experience all of this, so I don't have too much of experience and knowledge on this front. But whatever I've heard from my friends and all, the cesarean babies also have an impact on mother's health. Correct me if I'm wrong over here.
Because that's a forced method. The child, when it gets ready on its own, when they say it's like full term, right? You're 9 months plus a little bit here and there, 9 months, when you say the child is ready to come out, right? But when you have a cesarean, so there are a lot of clients that I get, astrologically, this is the right date for the child, and
Yeah.
I this is the right nakshatra for the child, or now I'm very gaining so much weight or something like that. There's some very random excuses that come in, and they want to kind of have a cesarean child. Or also even the patients, that the pain, because there is so much spoken about the delivery pain, and the delivery, the kind of exercise, or the kind of muscle, that is being used
Mm.
for the child. All that fears the mothers also, and that is where we opt for a very simple process as a cesarean, that okay, they just cut the tummy and they'll kind of take the baby out. But then your body is not ready for it, because when the baby is ready, it is sending those hormones that now your body has to produce milk, has to produce the right, secretion for the child. But if you are doing it prematurely, or you're doing it, because of any other reason, the body does not become ready. And that is when it can affect the child of, it can affect the mood, the emotion of the mother and the child. And that is why, because the cesareans are increasing, you also see the postpartum, delivery stress going higher. Suddenly there is a dip in the mother's emotions. Suddenly the mother feels very low. Suddenly the mother feels very overwhelmed, because these 9 months were actually that the child was giving us that time to prepare for everything that is going to happen, and naturally develop the body and the hormones and the emotions for everything that is going to come your way. But we disrupted that process by doing a cesarean, by going back to something which was not naturally done. And that is when you will see things everywhere that will happen. Every area of your life can get affected.